Not that
Oh, I'll take it.
one.
Oh.
Let's try that one again then, Hada. Oh, doesn't want that one. Not a 20. 7, I'll take it!
Alright, Adam.
Yes!
Oh man. Right. Trying to go back through the mists of time. So we went. I went to a pub with some bird guys who let me in, and we recruited someone from that pub to take us on an adventure to the underground tombs. On the way there, I got an amazing hat that points me to the nearest alcohol when nearby. We didn't we go through some crazy ritual? Or get involved in a ritual in a town on the way?
Perdita did. Perdita.
Perdita. Who's Perdita?
She is a rogue that we recruited with Samurai in the Blind Eye Bar.
Ah, so they're the people I recruited.
Yeah,
Okay, from
and then we
Perdita.
met with Marco and Sarah, a cleric and paladin from Mishakal.
Yes.
Is that his name or is that the god?
That's the god.
Right, I thought so because I've got Abbot of. Oh, and his name was Hildebrand. And to go, and then we're on our way to the catacombs of Ptolemy. The town was Yavering.
Yavering.
Yeah, and there was a tattoo party every night.
That's right.
Perdita was the one I hid with my super cool invisibility.
I showed them the tattoo of a dragon on my back, didn't I? That they got quite
like
happy about.
They're like your best mates by the end of that. They love you.
I think they showed me some kind of moonshine distillery in their basement that we got a little scared about, but it was harmless.
And then you got your hat, and then we ended just after reaching the town of Rye, where we all had a drink. A little bit of a falling out between some of us, and that's where you guys left off. The next day, as a peace offering, Dalar and I went out on a little quest to gain some experience and bond.
How did that go?
I kicked ass, and I know Josh isn't here to defend himself, but he went down a lot. So yeah.
Well, seeing as I rolled so high, you did.
You did a great job, Judd.
You got me out of a pickle there, Judd.
I told you, I've been learning to make notes. This is it now.
Well, I'm glad
It only
because
took
I
3
actually
months.
missed the last session, so I would not even have known any of that.
There you go.
Well, that is what happened. I know the backstory of all these characters that we are with because I still have notes on that too. I'm a badass.
Look at you, actually remembering things.
I'm writing them down just like I should have done from the start.
Well. Auspicious, to say the least.
Are you impressed, Alex?
I am impressed. I'm hot under the collar.
It's only taken me a few months there to learn to actually use a pencil.
Top of the class.
I know. Well, very good. So, Judd was absolutely right. At the beginning of last week, we took the liberty of bringing you into the town of Rye, where you were then left overnight while Judd and Thalar went to do a bit of have a bit of sport, and that's where you find yourself now, is in the town of Rye. It's of decent size. I think we said it was like 500 people. The defining feature of this town is that all of the buildings are built out of wooden beams, wattle and daub, but the wooden beams are all charcoaled and blackened on the outside, and the whole town smells kind of barbecuey and smoky as a result. The buildings are fine; they didn't burn down; they've just used burned to build the houses. And the biggest building that you guys could see is a big 2-story building, which is the general store. And Thalar and Jordan had stopped in there earlier to sort of what's the word, to sort of resupply. But otherwise, you stop them through on your way out. So if there's anything that you guys want to do or get while you're in town, then now would be the time. Otherwise, you're gonna crack on.
Is there a jeweler in this town at all?
No, there is only a general store.
Right. Would the general store have a pearl?
Look at my little general store list that I have. They do not have a pearl.
Yeah, I didn't think they would. Would have been nice, but very well.
How are we geared up for healing? Should we get some healing potions or healing equipment?
Well, if we are still on the same day that Josh and I returned, Taylor and I returned, we will definitely need a day's rest, which we can take after leaving town, because I think Josh escaped with like 4 health.
Okay.
And I am full, but I have no spells left. There was some serious fireballing going down. Also, I walk up to Valoran, and I hand him a short sword in a sheath. I will just get that for you.
What is this for, Jordan?
I found this in the cave. It was one of the items we recovered. I thought you might have a use for it. It's not something generally I would use.
Okay.
Oh,
Well.
no, right. Ignore that one sec. That just went in the wrong chat. There you go. Yeah, and it's a short sword of life stealing.
Oh. Well, thank you very much. I will
figure
make
you
use of this.
Would be best used in your hands. You're the swordy type.
I am the swordy type.
Daylar's not here, but I will also give him. I'll let him know afterwards, but I will give him 2,500 copper.
Copper,
And,
specifically.
Yeah.
How generous.
1,000 silver pieces.
If you just mark that down, we can give it to him later.
Yes, yeah. I just want it to make sure that I'm not going to now spend it.
So, Alex, how long will
Yeah.
it take me to attune?
I would say it doesn't take very long.
It's around half an hour. It's a short rest. Though.
Yeah, it's not long. You can just kind of hang out with it and figure it out.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
meant to be just time getting used to like either the swing or feel of it, or
You can't you can't just pick it up in the dungeon and start using it. Is kind of the idea.
Okay.
But any amount of time traveling.
But by the time you get to the next time you take a long rest, you'll have the opportunity to do it.
Okay.
But you can't be attuned to more than 3 items at the same time. So just if you gain more magical items that you want to attune to, that's fine. But you only have 3 slots to fill.
Okay. Alright. I'll remember that.
So, can I visit the general store, please, just to inquire about healing potions, perhaps, or anything that they could recommend to heal someone in battle?
So you see this big 2-story building with the sort of wooden sign over the door. It says General Store. There's a little shop that's attached to it with a very poorly drawn wooden sign on the side that you can see says Pip's Menagerie. But you walk into the main store, and you see the shop owner, and he's probably 65. And he's got bald head and these beautifully braided sideburns, and he's smoking a pipe. That's right. And he recognizes you as you come in. He says, "Ah, welcome back."
Hi, friend. Hi. We managed to deal with Maggie's problem.
Ah, good, good. How'd the adventuring go? Anything exciting?
Well, I found an interesting sword, and I've got some gems.
Oh, gems, you say?
I don't know if they're of use to you. I would trade them for gold, or I believe my friend is looking for healing potions. If you have any of those.
No, we don't have any of that, and I don't have any use for gems. We're a simple folk out here. We don't have no, and I looking around. I don't have any healing potions per se. I've got tools and things, and sacks and rope and paper, and all manner of common goods. But we don't do a lot of magic out in these parts.
In that case, would you have a healer's kit available?
Let me just see. Healers, healers, healers. No, I tell you what, I've got carpenters, cobblers, cooks, glassblowers, leatherworkers, masons, potters, smiths, weavers, and wood carvers, but I don't got any healers.
That's unfortunate. Oh well.
Sorry about that. Anything else I can get for you?
My friends might be looking for something.
He looked over at you guys.
Nope.
I'm just shaking my head no.
Okay, well, you have a good day. He goes back to playing on his pipe.
Okay. Let's hit the road.
Okay, Jack. And, you mount up and you make your way out of Rye, leaving the smoky town behind you, and you begin to ride. It's the middle of the day, so you've got probably half a day of riding left in you, and you start wandering through the plains, and you pass by this huge lake on your left, and you bed down for a couple nights. You keep going and going, so take a long rest, everybody. Tune, and it's all fine. Because you're riding for a couple days. And you start to notice a few things as you go. The wildlife, which has been noisy, the birds chirping and the beavers, swimming and all these kinds of things. The further and further you go, eventually the quieter and quieter it becomes. And if you stop hearing these things altogether. And the towns and homes, which is sort of sparsely dotting the landscape, and the lights are sort of comfortingly twinkling on the mountains and fields, like little stars, eventually they all vanish as well. And suddenly you've come to realize that the fields that you're passing through are completely barren, except for the native scrub. And the forests and the woods which are breaking up these flat plains don't have a sort of youthful or regular look to them. They're very ancient and overgrown and wild. It's clear that there's been no sort of sentient intervention in a very long time. And as you keep walking, you have this gradual sense of foreboding and dread, and it begins as a small thing, and it starts to build and build and build. And sleeping at night becomes really difficult. You start having nightmares throughout the evenings. It becomes really hard to stay asleep. Eventually, the horses stop eating, and on the last half day, as you're sort of approaching the ruins of Ptolemy, they just lay down, and they just refuse to go any further. And so you have to spend the last half day walking towards Ptolemy, and you have to do it all on foot. And those feelings of dread and fear begin to get more and more intense, as if it's sort of in the air, but it's a stale feeling. It's like something really horrible happened, and there's this sort of thickness in the air, but from a very long time ago. Feelings are there, but it's sort of safely distant. And eventually Yeah, go ahead.
So would Marco have anything to combat this effect? Would he know anything about it?
He would know that it was. Let's see.
Because they've been here before. In fact, quite
I
a lot.
don't think he has been here before, actually.
No, he's not. But Samri and Perdita have been here before, haven't they?
Oh yes.
Marco is a cleric, so I don't know if he has anything.
Yeah, he will have. Well, and so is Thalar, I will say. He will have a spell for this, which he will choose to cast. Let me see what the effects are and if any good. No, it only lasts 10 minutes.
Not worth it then.
No. He doesn't really, he has effective power against things, he can create a sphere of holy energy over the course of, 10 minutes or sometimes an hour. But as you're just kind of walking over days on end, he doesn't really have anything that would help, except for his own sort of faith, praying every now and again. And the rest of your party, Samri and Perdita look kind of okay. They've been here several times before, and they're clearly just gritting their teeth and getting through it. Sarah and Marco begin to look more visibly uncomfortable and rely a bit more on their prayer to kind of keep them going. And I think Thalar would do the same thing. And eventually you start passing the sort of remains of old homes, and you can make out depressions and ditches and hills, which could only have been made by, sentient beings through crafted hands. Although the buildings and the travelways that once was supported by these sort of ditches and depressions are long since grown over and faded away. The only road that you have now is this narrow dirt path that you're walking along, not very well worn, but definitely clear, down what must have been a main thoroughfare a very, very long time ago, judging by the distance between the drainage ditches on the sides of the roads. Ancient farms and weathered stone walls, long crumbled, begin to appear as you get closer and closer and closer. The farmhouses and their wooden structures have sort of rotted away, but gradually and increasingly, more walls and foundations creep into view. And by nightfall, it's clear that you're firmly stuck in the agricultural heart of the surroundings of Ptolemy, and you make camp in the hollow of an old ruined stone structure. Some of the corners between the internal and external walls are providing you a decent sort of 3 to 5 foot cover from the wind and the surrounding elements. Samri builds a fire, and Marco helps him gather some wood, and you're all sort of huddled around it. And even though the night it's chilly, it's November, but the fire is going, it's still very, very cold, and a lot of that cold is sort of seeped into you in a supernatural way. You can tell it's not just the chill of the night air.
Sonny, I would imagine, would share around some spirit of some kind to
warm and thanks, Sonny.
Warm people up. Tell them a tale.
Yes, they listen with rapt attention. Let's see what else I have for this. You swap. It's quite friendly. You're swapping stories of different adventures that you've had. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share? Something from their past story, perhaps?
Yeah, Sonny might share the tale of his town being destroyed, but he probably wouldn't share that it was demons that dragged it into the mines, and it leaves that a bit out and just goes with the Emperor's engineer's explanation of a gas explosion.
And they all listen, and they share some people share some of their own sort of personal vulnerabilities, because you've sort of opened the door with this personal story. So Samri talks about how he's really hoping that this mission is a lucrative one, because he's got a lot of gambling debt with the Mordavy crime family, and he's nearly paid it off, but this is going to be hopefully the be-all end-all, because he's deep in it with those guys. Sarah tells you a little bit about something about her past. She once ran away from the order at 16, and she broke her vows and became a barge worker for a long number of months, but eventually the call of her god brought her back, and she was welcomed, but she carries a really deep guilt around that, and sort of her oath-breaking, even though they were very warm and welcoming about bringing her back in. She's still really kind of racked by guilt. And Perdita shares about some of her dreams, and she says that even though she recognizes that it's kind of silly, her big dream is she just wants a comfortable sort of cottage in the woods with a big strong man to chop the wood and hunt while she raises kids. And she says, I know it's silly, but it's what I think is something I really want to do. So that's they've all sort of opened up and shared a little bit. And a lot about Marco already from his past, because you guys were talking while you go, but he does also share with you that he reckons he's probably got a few kids floating around somewhere from his past, and he feels really bad about the fact that he's not got any contact with his doubtless, he's probably got a few kids out in the world that don't know him and he doesn't know. So you learn all this about your party. They're there to share with you.
Okay. I guess I will join in the storytelling and tell about my life in the gladiator school and how it was that I came to be with Jordan's fabulous adventuring group.
That's good. Good. So you all get closer, and it helps. This sharing booze definitely. and the sharing of the stories have helped to kind of make the night feel a bit more warm and friendly. So you actually sleep quite soundly, even though you're so close to the source of this sort of evil. The next morning, you wake up and you begin to walk, and the farms behind you begin to fade as these large town walls heave into view. And you pass through this ancient and now dried riverbed, which provides you some temporary shade and a low-lying path. And you can see it stretching far up and down, and this once huge flow of water has given way to cracked and dried clay, which is pierced with scrub and brush.
Is there any evidence of life around these farms? Are they like still being worked by people? Or...
No, they're long abandoned. Yeah. You can see that they were once farms. You can make out some old walls, but it's all overgrown and sort of returned to nature. And as you approach and you come through, you see the gates of the city, which are open wide because they've rotted and fallen away. The doors aren't there anymore. The city's architecture has left many shells of buildings waist high, and the occasional wooden pylon still juts out of the foundations. Now that I've given it to you, I think I have. Oh, hang on. Save it as a. And so you pass through this city, and plaster clings to some of these wood pylons, and the hint of previous glory remains in this once proud city. And the streets are still very well cobbled and rutted, but time and travelers have worn the center of the street right down to the dirt, with no one to maintain it. To the southeast, you see a hill spiking out of the ground, and the remains of the royal enclosure and its fortified walls perched on top. And the city slips by until you come into a clearing, which would have held the old marketplace. And you can see that it's sort of trodden the dirt, and there's some very clear paths. And in the center of this clearing is a well, with the remains of the former stone ring now crumbled down to just a single ring of stone. And Samri walks to a nearby ruin, and he secures a rope around one of the larger rocks, testing it with his weight. And Perdita starts to section out rope from her packs and counts them and places them into very tightly coiled rounds. Marco and Sarah begin to inventory their holy supplies, and Sarah straps on a sword and the other equipment, and Marco starts to pray. So if you have anything that you'd like to do before you head in, you get the sense that now is very much the time.
I will cast Mage Armor on myself.
How long does that last?
8 hours.
Very good.
I do it at the start of every day. It's just, I'd like to say it so you don't have to assume.
Thank you, yes.
What time of the day would it be now?
I'm going to say it's probably 10 or 11 o'clock.
Right, okay. Yeah, I would have cast it in the morning. It's just if we get a short rest, I would get the spell slot back.
Okay.
Sonny might just meditate for a while.
Okay.
I think Valoran's just gonna keep practicing with the new sword.
Awesome new sword.
I
Okay.
tried to use it last week, but it did not go well for me.
Yeah, a fighter, Jordan is not.
Yeah.
And after you've all sort of done all this, Sam returns and says, "Okay, now we go down. Now I will remind you again, it is deadly down there. These feelings of dread will increase. You will see things. These things may not be real, but they can hurt you. Beware." And he mounts up and he begins to rappel down the well. And Perdita gently announces, I'll bring up the rear. Marco, Sarah, do you want to go next? And so they strap on harnesses and they also begin to descend. And then she turns and she looks at you.
I guess I will be the first to go.
Okay, you strap on your harness and you begin to head down the well.
Okay. I'll
And
follow.
Thalar goes next, because he's not here, so I can make him go whenever I want.
Okay, I will follow Thaler.
Okay, and Sunny comes last, and then Perdita, and you're just rappelling down this rope, sliding down casually. You don't have to work very hard, but it's long. It's a deep well. After about 200 feet, eventually it bottoms out, and it's dry. As well as dry at the bottom. The well ran adjacent to the catacombs, and these enterprising adventurers seeking glory have used it as a starting point to burrow into the catacomb system. So you can see the bottom of this well has been torn away, and there's now like a man-made carved archway, very roughly done, that it's quite cramped, and it sort of goes back down, and you can see some torches towards the end. Samri and Marco are nowhere to be seen, but Sarah is waiting at the top of the passage for you, and there's just graffiti everywhere.
I will cast a light on my staff.
Okay, you do that.
Is there anything interesting on the graffiti, or is it just all nonsense?
No, it's all just tags and this and that and the other. So it's you don't recognize anything interesting.
Okay. All right, well, I guess we'll move forward.
Yep. So you well, I'm trying to find you right here, but it's you have such a good one. So you see here. You see Sarah. She's waiting at the top of the passage, and she says, They went this way." And she crouches and leads her way down the passage with a torch in her hand. And you follow her. And the passage is vividly decorated with tags and crude drawings, and it's clear that this portion of the catacombs has been well worn by thrill seekers and ne'er-do-wells. And after about 100 feet or so, the passage opens up into a large and very regularly hewn square room. The hand-carved walls become very smooth and professional. The walls and the ceilings become perpendicular instead of this rough sort of cave feel from this cramped passage. And at the end of the passage, a very neat wall of bones has been pushed aside where the makeshift entrance reached smooth wall into the room. And so you gather there. And after a moment, you get... you see Marco and Samri, and they're in there. And Sarah's there now too. And then after a moment, Perdita brings up the rear. The room is still painted with all kinds of calling cards of previous visitors. The room is arranged as you would expect of a catacomb. Each wall has a stack of bones neatly arranged in a pile, and the skulls are all on top. And you can see a small plaque on the left which reads Wimmy Cemetery, 4th Borough. Samri and Marco and Sarah are all standing near this next door, a regular door. No door itself, just like an archway, and they've got their torches in hand, and they look at you as you enter. And Samri pulls out a map and begins to look at it and says, "Just need a moment, and we will be on our way."
Can I stand next to him and take a look at the map?
Yes, you can, and you see. Got something for this. You see this. Oh, no, not.
How easy would it be to find our way back to the well?
Oh, it's too big. In the map?
Well, if say we wanted to walk back, how difficult would that be?
Oh, I mean, it's just down a hallway. It's 100 feet down the hallway. Yeah. It's not like, you're
We're not
it's
yet
just
in
right
the
there.
like in catacomb type thing.
No, you've just come in, you've just entered the first sort of catacomb room. You're not lost in a labyrinth. It's okay. Let me just quickly...
be very aware of, well, I would be trying to be very aware of how to like orientate myself everywhere.
So, hang on.
Why does this not say?
I'm just pressing the PNG because it was... You can edit this part out and post. See if this works. Really? Whoops.
Spooks.
I thought that was coming from downstairs with my wife watching a film or something, but it's in my
It's in your ears.
it's in my own ears.
It is. Oh, it's gonna freak us out.
Brother.
Ooh, and I just realized you can lower the volume.
Yeah,
by
you can adjust
person.
it to your preferences.
That's
Yeah.
perfect for me. Ah, I have found the correct character sheet.
I love taking a nice break because we get all these new maps afterwards.
It would compress.
I played a game the other day, and our DM we came across a piper in the woods, and the DM played the most annoying pipe rave music, and I couldn't figure out how to turn it down. I could barely think. It was like yeah, exactly like that, but with panpipes.
Oh no!
And rats were attacking us. It was like, I can't.
Oh, that's tragic.
I couldn't think.
While we've got a moment of quiet, I would have asked, I think, I would have asked Samurai if there were any like large drops or pitfalls in the catacombs.
And he says yes, absolutely. Some of these tunnels are flooded. Some of them have collapsed. It is very tricky indeed.
Right, well, I will keep my prepared feather fallen.
He thinks that's a good idea. Right, 80% on this.
Is your feather fall similar to my monk's? What's it called? Slow fall.
How does slow fall work?
You can use your reaction when you fall to reduce any falling damage you take by an amount equal to 5 times your monk level, and I'm a monk level 5, so.
Then it is not.
So 20. So you would take 25 damage off of your falling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't falling 1d12 for every 20 feet?
6 per 10 feet.
For 10 feet.
I always, I think that's what I really like. You can always check the book if
You would be able to fall an extra 40 feet,
Cool.
give or take.
Bear that in mind.
Depending on how you roll. If, you could
Yeah.
you could fall 240 feet if you rolled all ones, but
If you roll
somehow I think that's
241.
probably not the case.
Well, I think that did happen, didn't it, in an earlier game when I tried to climb on the roof of that magic shop, and
Oh
did
yeah, and you
reduce
got
the
blown
noise.
off it.
I didn't roll very well, if I recall.
No, feather fall just reduces the speed at which you.
But only for
Should
60
fall.
feet.
Oh no, slows it to 60 feet per second.
Oh, sorry, but
Per-
for
per
a minute.
round, 10, yeah.
So 60 feet per round for 1 minute means what?
10
600
feet, a
feet?
second, yeah, or
Yeah.
600 feet. But I can cast it halfway down if I need to. It's a reaction.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Uh,
provided I still have it up when I hit the
Okay,
ground.
this should have worked. Now, let me just quickly throw that in the resources file. And we can move on with our life.
Has anyone played the Bard's Tale on the computer game? Is it called the Bard's Tale?
I think it is, but no.
yeah.
no.
There's
There we go.
there's a song about beer in that made me think of Sunny so much.
Oh, that is.
Whoa.
So you begin to walk. He says, right, this way. And now that he's sorted out the map. And he begins to lead you through some of these winding corridors, left, right, and left, right.
So are we this red line? Have you just put that on?
Yeah, you're this red line, and you're gonna track this red line for a minute until I tell you you're somewhere else.
No,
But
fine.
that's a plot of part of your route. And you pass. Eventually, you start to hear some very soft singing. And as you get closer, Samri kind of edges past a crack in the wall, As you walk by it, you quickly look in, and you can see 8 or 9 people, all completely naked, standing around a pentacle, chanting. And Samri gives you the sort of, he twirls his finger next to his head in the sort of crazies motion, and sort of keeps quietly walking.
Okay. Samri, who are these people?
Crazy down here, they like the energy, they think it makes them powerful, but I have never seen anyone do anything actually interesting.
Are they any danger to us?
No. No. They're just weirdos.
Okay.
I have never seen them ever summon anything. I have never seen any of them do any magic. They just come down here and sing.
Okay.
But I think it makes them feel better.
Can I just watch them for a minute and see if I recognise if there is any power behind what they're doing?
Yeah, you watch for a little while, and it's clear that magical talent in the world is, you as an adventuring wizard would be considered, and as a member of the pavilion, are considered like a strong wizard, even though you're only level 5. Like, you're still considered better than about 99% of the world's population. You can tell that this is the D&D equivalent of a bunch of, like, Wiccan coven people doing a lot of chanting and rituals, but they don't have any innate talent. So they're going through a lot of the motions, but there's no actual magic behind it.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay.
Um,
And I'll just let Sammy know that there's. I agree with his assessment that there's no
he kind of
magic.
taps his finger to his nose in a very sort of, we're in agreement sort of motion. And he keeps going. And you wind through more and more tunnels. Eventually, you hit the end of that red line. And to your straight, you see more bones at the edge of this room, and there's a tiny squeeze on top of these bones that you can see. And to your left is another archway, and it's been completely filled in with rocks. It's been like purposefully bricked up, but it's very clearly man-made. It's not collapsed. The tunnel's not collapsed. Someone has taken the time to fill this up. And Samri says, "Right, we will go over the bones."
Over the bones. Sammy, could you show me on this map where it is that we're headed to?
And he shows you, and he points sort of towards the bottom area, and he says, "This is step 1. We will get down here. I think it is going to be this way. I have not been past this point," and he points to sort of the middle bit, in a very long time. But I think it should be around here, and he sort of points to the bottom, sort of right of the map.
Yeah.
And he says, "It's not a precise science. I have not seen it with my own eyes, but from rumors and this and that, I think I can get us pretty close."
Right, that's fine. I just wanted to know the general area we were heading in case I
Yeah, and he says, "Okay, we go." And he starts to squeeze. He throws his pack in front of him, and he starts to squeeze. He just about fits through this very tight passage as he wiggles his way over the bones and out of sight. And Sarah has to take off her big plate armor. He pushes it in front of her, and she follows. Marco's pretty lithe. He's pretty slim, so he kind of squeezes through.
Okay, well, follow.
So you squeeze through these pointy, brittle bones. It's very uncomfortable. Is anyone, or any of you, claustrophobic? Would any of your characters be scared of tight spaces?
Not Gionan, at least.
Yeah, I don't think Valoran is.
No, nothing that stands out from my backstory. I think he was, very adventurous as a child.
However, Valoran is scared of the dark. So
That's good to know. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you've got torches, and Jordan's staff is glowing, but it is pitch black down there, because it's underground. And so you crawl. Each of you in turn crawls over these bones, and you make it out one by one, and you sort of extricate yourselves and you dust yourselves off. And Perdita is the last to come through. And right at the last minute, you hear her, and she says, "My foot is stuck. Help! I need some help. I need some help."
I'll rush over and try to help pull her out.
And you push. Ow! Ow! No, you can't. Hang on. You gotta. Give me a second. Give me a second. And she's like trying to reach and wiggle, but there's not enough room for her to kind of turn around. And at that moment, you hear crack in the ceiling, and her eyes go as wide as dinner plates. And she says, "You gotta pull me out. You gotta pull me out."
Okay, Sonny rushes over to help.
Can we start digging at the bone and making a little bit of a clearing?
Yeah, you can do that. And she's like pulling and frantically pushing and like trying to get out, and you hear another big crack from the ceiling.
Is there any way I can reach through the hole and grab her foot?
No, you wouldn't be able to reach. It's too tight.
I can touch her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will cast reduce size on her.
Okay, so she shrinks down to small size?
Yeah, an eighth of half the size, I think it is.
Okay, so she shrinks down to like 3 feet tall. And do you grab her, or do you just let her pull herself out?
Grab her and
grab her.
So as you pull her out, the exact instant, the ceiling in that little squeeze cracks and collapses in with a big of dust. And she's okay. She's fine. She's very short, but she's okay. And you are in this very dusty room now, and she's coughing, and she looks at Jordan and Sunny, and thank you.
I give yeah, I'll release the concentration. It's only lasts a minute anyway. But
fine. She resumes normal size. And you look around. Sorry, go ahead.
Is it Samri that's leading us, or Marco? I can't remember.
Yeah, no, Marco is the cleric. Samri is the one in the lead.
Clerics are just here for firepower, really.
Yeah.
It's Samri that knows the shit.
Just, I guess, Sonny would say to Samri, I take it this is the kind of thing we need to expect. The conditions of these catacombs unpredictable.
He doesn't acknowledge you. He's staring at the other side, at the wall, just next to you guys. And he's got this really disbelieving look on his face.
Can we perceive what
yeah,
he's looking at?
Yeah. So you look, and the dust is sort of thick, but it begins to clear. And you realize that you are now standing in the exact room that you just came out of.
Pardon?
So you see this archway with the bricked up doors, and it's exactly where it was before. You've come out the exact same place that you just went in. And he's got this look on his face like he's never seen this before.
And the pile of bones that we went through is there in front of us again.
Yeah, so the ones where you just crawled out, where you just pulled out Perdita, is the same as the one that you just crawled into.
Okay. Oh. Can anyone...
And Perdita sees it too, and she also is just like staring, and you can see the wheels in her head are turning, trying to make sense of this, but it's not clicking.
Guys?
And he's pointing at the door, and he says, that is not supposed to be there.
Can anyone sense any magic going on here?
I could try and see if there's any magic around. I can't use. I don't really have a spell at my height. Are there any?
What I will give you for free, without a spell or a roll, is that you feel magic everywhere. The whole place is full of it.
Okay.
So it would take a good deal of work to try and segregate a specific instance of magic out from the general sort of magic that seeped into the walls of the underground cavern.
Okay. And can you
So
describe to me the room again? Is there any other? You said there was a bricked up archway or a
So
cave.
there's this bricked up archway. The bones that you just came over, and as you look around, you realize that the room isn't exactly the same because there was also a passageway that you came into this room through, and the other two walls that you see are now completely smooth.
Are there anything on the walls, or are they
Nope,
just
they are
complete?
completely smooth.
what about the
Just
archway? Is there any writing around the archway? Any?
nope, it's a completely plain sort of stone carved archway. It's just been bricked up, and Samri realizes what's happened as he looks around and he sees that the other passageway is no longer there and that you've somehow come through to this room. And he starts to kind of lose it a little bit. He kind of starts to bite his nails and start pacing back and forth. And Perdita kind of sits down against the bones and puts her head in her hands as she's also kind of realizing what's happening. And you can hear her say,
Guys, what's going on?
and she says, a while ago, we had another friend who would come to the catacombs. He was called Talpa. He was a very good friend of ours, and he knew this place better than anybody. He would spend weeks down here, months down. He loved it down here, the dark and the magic, and he's really fascinated by it. And he could get through without a map. It was amazing, and he went everywhere in the catacombs except through this door, because through this door goes beyond the catacombs that were built for the city of Ptolemy and into Samri's underground empire that he had built after he took over. And it's evil down there. It's so we avoided it at all costs. And he tried for as long as he could, but then one day he just couldn't resist anymore. He walked through that archway and he
You cut out at the end there, Alex.
and she says, and we never he walked through that archway and we never saw him again.
Good.
What was his name again?
Talpa.
Talpa.
And she kind of puts her head back in her hands, and Samri's sort of swearing under his breath, and he gets kind of agitated, and he's like, I'm not going in there.
There's nowhere
It
else
doesn't
to go.
seem like we have a lot of choice, Samri.
And he's kind of pacing back and forth, and he says, I know, but I can't, we can.
What about the wall of bones that we came through?
The wall of bones that you just came through had that squeeze that you went through in it, but it's just caved in.
Like a complete cave in. There's no way we could.
The ceilings collapsed into the squeeze.
So the only path we have is through that bricked archway now.
Yeah, unless you
Okay.
know some sort of teleportation magic, which I don't think.
Can we inspect the bricked archway then, and the potential for unbricking it, removing?
Oh, you can
blocks?
tell it's not mortared or anything. You could just pull the rocks out.
Just stone blocked up.
Yeah, they've just
Okay.
been put there rudimentarily. So you,
I mean, I don't think we've got a lot of choice, Samri. Perdita.
Yeah, if we say this,
Perdita nods and she says, "It's okay. We'll be okay." And she goes over and she kind of puts a hand on Samri's shoulder and she speaks to him in Elvish, kind of quietly. He kind of calms down a bit, and he says, "Okay, we just have to be on our game, but we can do it. We can get out. There will be another way. There's always another way. Come." And he starts to go over and he starts pulling some stones out.
All right, I would go help them.
Marco and Sarah, are you guys okay?
Yeah, they're kind of cool. They've been watching. They're kind of freaked out, you can tell, but they're just kind of like you. They're kind of confused and a little shaken, but they're not as affected by what seems to be happening. So they go over and Marco starts pulling some stuff out. Sarah's lifting some of the bigger rocks because she's kind of strong as hell, so she's lifting some of the big chunks.
Okay.
so as the bricks come down, I guess we're able to proceed through.
Yeah. So eventually you clear the path and you step through. You can walk straight through the door and you see a straight, long passage going off into the darkness. And that's all you see. And as you take these bricks down, you can feel a very soft gust of wind hit your face.
So looking at the map where the line
Like
stops.
fresh air type thing, or stale.
No, just like you've just kind of changed the pressure in the room.
Yeah.
Stale air. So looking at the map, quite unhelpfully, you see the red dot at the end of the path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to the right.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay.
Good map. Good, solid map.
It's more of a prop, really. And Samri takes a big breath and he walks through the archway. And Perdita waits behind, keeping up the rear. So she motions Marco and Sarah step through, and then she looks at you.
Can I just do a perception check on Perdita? I'm just a little put off that she's always at the back. What's her motivation here?
I do an insight check.
If I can pick up any kind of ulterior motive.
Do you say anything to her?
Sonny will suggest that he covers the back for a while and gives her a break.
And she says, if you'd like, I mean, you hired Samri and I to get you through, and so this is just kind of, we want to make sure that nobody goes astray or gets lost, so one in front, one in back, but if you want to bring up the rear, that's okay.
And what check did you say? Insight, so I get +1 on that. Insight. 14, so how do I feel of that response there?
She seems to be perfectly genuine. She seems to be, just she's keeping an eye on all the sheep, making sure no one goes astray.
Okay, well then I thank her and say, the offer's still open if you need a break, but you continue to cover the back, Perdita.
And she smiles and she kind of puts her hand on her elbow and she says, "Thank you." And that felt really patronizing, but it wasn't. It was very genuine.
I'll stay around the middle of the group.
Yeah.
In fact, we're near the front, I would think.
So you
where Samri is.
Yeah.
Just like behind him somewhere. Not.
You walk down the corridor, and you walk for a little while. It's a long corridor. Looks exactly the same as the rest of the stone that you've seen. Nothing's different. And then eventually you get to this room, and you walk into this room, or rather, what I should say is you walk into the end of the corridor, and there's a wooden door. The end of the corridor shut. And Samri's standing in front of it, and he hasn't opened it yet. And he's waiting for everybody to sort of gather before you go through the door.
Okay. Should we, what do you suggest, Samri?
He says, well, let's go through. I was just waiting, and Perdita comes, and they make eye contact and says, okay, let's go.
Can I pause him before he opens that and say, can we listen at the door first, see if we can hear anything?
Good. That's a good idea.
On the other side, perception, perhaps.
Yep.
15 in total. That would be from me.
You don't hear any signs of life or any motion. Sounds dead quiet.
And any signs of danger, a trap on this door, or anything like that?
No, it just seems like a perfectly ordinary wooden door.
Okay. So it's, I can't hear anything. Can't see any problem with this door, guys. Just let's proceed.
Do you open it?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, seeing as.
So you open the door, and it swings right open, inwards, away from you, and you walk in. All of you walk into this room, and it's very out of place. And your minds take a second to try and reconcile what you're seeing, because you just weren't expecting to see something like this. What you're in is a cottage.
Cool.
And it's been destroyed. It's all burned out. And the tables are torn over, and it's looking really bad. But it's very clearly a home. And you've just come through the front door. And Sonny, you look around and you realize that it's your childhood home.
Oh.
And you recognize the architecture and the flooring and the color of the paint on the walls. You even look over and you see the armchair in the corner, and that's the one that your dad would sit and tell you stories from. And you remember a time, it comes back to you so vividly, when you spilled a bunch of ink on the cushion and you had to turn it over to to prevent him from finding out and you're going to get in trouble. And you see this armchair right there, and there it is.
So I guess almost trance-like, I would walk over and flip over the cushion to see how true this vision is.
Yep, it's got a big ink stain on the bottom.
What am I seeing during this time?
Behold, same thing. Everybody sees it.
Okay.
Everybody sees this house, but Sonny, he hasn't said anything yet, so you don't know. You just your minds are kind of trying to figure out why you're in this destroyed home.
So
you're all in this cottage.
The easy option would be for Sonny to spin around and tell everyone, but I'm happy to role play this and do some kind of role to simulate his ability to snap out of this and come to his senses.
Yeah, so I'm going to have you... Why don't you roll a... What would this be? Add something for it. A wisdom saving throw?
Yeah, okay.
And let me set a DC before you do. Okay, I got it.
So my wisdom saving throw modifier is, would it be Constitution, perhaps? But I'll go.
More physical.
Is it not?
Yeah,
not
this
mental.
is more of a mental exercise,
Okay.
so I'm going to stick with wisdom.
Yeah, okay. So I guess I roll a d20 and add my modifier of 1. So 16.
Yep. You can form the words.
Okay, and I think being friends with John and knowing his magic abilities, I would probably focus my attention on him and there's something weird going on here, John, and this is...
Do you know this place?
Yeah, this is my childhood cottage. I lived here as a child, not in this dungeon, but in a version
I imagine not in the dungeon.
of this, and it is to the minutest detail correct. Something's tapping into my mind here. I'm scared.
I will walk over and I will touch the cushion. Does it still feel solid and everything to me?
It feels like a chair. You could sit in it.
Samri, Marco, any?
Marco's like in prayer after hearing this, and Samri is just kind of kicking around and looking at stuff and picking up things and whacking it against other things to see if it's, real. And it all is. It's all real.
Can I open the front door and see what's outside?
You came through the front door.
Oh, okay.
I will pick up the cushion with the ink stain on and I will throw it through the front door.
Nothing happens. It slides down the corridor.
Yeah,
look out the window.
You open the shutters to the window, and it's just stone.
Okay.
It's that same stone that you see on the walls.
Well, I am incredibly uncomfortable. Right, I suggest we have no option but to move forward. Did anything particular happen in this room, Sonny?
Yeah, this. Well, I grew up.
I mean, was there any? Was any like defining event that this room, or is it just a room you lived in?
This is happy memories. Father telling me stories, mother cooking and singing.
Happy memories.
Happy memories, yeah, and it brings home sad memories now that they're dead and gone with the rest of the village. This house doesn't even exist anymore. It's dragged into the mines, and something's tapping into my memories clearly here.
I will tap on the wall with my staff. Does it feel? Is it?
What wall are you tapping on?
Just whichever's closest to side wall. Or
Yep.
something.
Yep.
Solid.
Stone.
Solid stone. Is there? Does the path continue? Is there like another?
There's a back door to the cottage.
Yeah.
It's shut. That's the only other door you see, except for the windows.
Let's open the back door.
Yeah, let's have Sonny go first.
Yep.
If
Yep.
that's all right.
Yeah, okay.
I would want to test something.
I'll open the back door.
You open it, and it's just another dark, long corridor.
Okay.
Right, wait. Let's wait a second then. Everybody back through the front door to where, the way we came.
Are you telling everyone to go out the
Yeah.
front door? Yep.
So backwards the way we
they
came.
follow you. Yep.
And then I'll shut the door.
Yep.
And then I will open it.
Yep.
Same room.
You walk right into the same cottage.
Well, this is incredibly
Bizarre.
unusual. Well, I suggest the only thing we can do is move forward.
Could I think Sonny would maybe not be able to resist to go over to his father's cabinet and looking to see if he could find any.
Booze.
No, well, maybe booze.
What does
Any?
the hat say?
Yeah, does the hat sense any booze?
The hat does not sense
No.
any booze. The hat's
So-
rather confused at being this far underground.
Any locks of hair of his mother's, or any memories?
You find your father's pipe in a drawer.
Okay, I'll take my father's pipe.
There has to be a reason this was shown to us.
To mess with my head.
Be a good reason.
Or maybe a gift. It's a happy memory.
Peace offering.
Perhaps.
I'll let you two stick with peace offering and gift. I'm not for it. So
It's very sinister, but I'm not sure what's showing Sonny is home.
I don't feel any magic at work here. And everything seems to be.
Could Sonny try and manipulate this by trying to remember something that wasn't in the next drawer?
Yeah. What do you do?
He tries to. He knows, and it's a sad thought that comes to him, but he knows that his father was dead against alcohol in the house. And Sonny feels ashamed that he turned to alcohol and had problems with it in his past, although he can control it now. And he concentrates as hard as he can on there being a bottle of alcohol in the next drawer in his dad's cabinet, and opens the drawer.
And the bottle of booze rolls and hits the other end of the drawer.
Okay, so I relay this to the group that my dad would have never had alcohol in the house. I've been able to manipulate this vision and create this alcohol. I take the alcohol though.
Try it.
Okay, I'll take a swig.
It's empty.
Okay,
Now that you've said it.
alright, okay. But there's the potential that we may be able to manipulate these visions. But then it starts messing with Sonny's head, and did my dad really have booze in that drawer?
I think we should get out as quick as possible, though.
Yeah, we've no option but to move on.
Samri is already over at the back door. He's opened it, and he's saying, "Come on, we have to keep going."
Let's keep moving forward.
And he leads the way down the hallway. And I presume you follow him. So you head down another series of hallways, and it's twists and turns, and eventually you come to a right turn and a left turn. And Samri looks right, and he looks left, and he looks at you.
Can we smell anything, hear anything coming from
You're gonna
either
have to roll
direction?
from it, aren't you?
Okie dokie.
Is this something we all could roll for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, everybody roll perception.
Oh, well.
Valoran is vaguely aware of being
In the
underground.
dungeon.
In a dungeon, yeah.
Sonny got 14.
Okay.
Two.
Okay, so with 14, you can feel a very slight, like, current of air, not fresh air, but just sort of like a brushing of air against you from the right-hand side. You don't sense anything from the left.
Okay. I don't know if this means anything, guys, but I can feel a slight breath of air blowing up from the right-hand side. What that means, I don't know. If that helps us decide which way to go.
Aren't we trying to go farther underground? So
At
if we
this point,
feel...
I think we're trying to mog it out. So
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the cave-in. Well, I'm fine with going right.
if we're voting, yeah, I'll go for the fresh air.
That's all we've got. Unless
so-
we split up.
No.
So
I would just like
Yeah.
to point out, by the way, that Valoran is like staying unnaturally close to Jordan with the mage light right now.
Okay.
Are you okay, Valoran?
Oh, I'm fine. You smell kind of good, and I don't want to leave you.
Sonny,
That makes me incredibly uncomfortable.
Sonny has cartographer's tools, so I think I would be keeping a
Trying to
track
plot
of
it out,
trying to plot it as we go.
Would Gianni be able to tell that it was the light that Valoran wanted? Or
roll an insight check.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
I was,
You see through that cunning ruse.
yeah. Is there a rock on the floor anywhere?
Yeah, there's some slate that's fluffed off the walls.
I'll take a piece of slate and cast light on it, and I'll say maybe if we have more light around, we might be able to see a little better, and I'll just pass it to Valoran.
Valoran he'll look at the rock and just squeeze it tightly, and then look at Jordan and nod.
I'll give a little wink, and I will carry on.
You head to the right, and you pass down a corridor, just like all the others, until eventually you come into another room, and it's probably 50 by 50, and your light only goes about 10 feet. And then it encounters this sort of swirling black substance.
Everybody hold up.
And you see Sarah come in, and she's kind of looking at it, and she reaches out to touch it.
I'll pull her back her hand.
And she just brushes the edge of the smoke as you pull the hand back. So she doesn't actually stick her hand in it, but she just brushes it. And the second that she does that, the smoke begins to shift and change, and it retreats and it solidifies. And before you are two enormous basilisks in flesh. And Sarah screams and just collapses and goes full fetal. And the color just drains from her face. And roll initiative.
Sweet. God.
$13 for the Judas.
6 in total for me.
Wait, 13 for Jordan.
What do you
How many
add?
for Sunny?
6 in total.
What do you add for initiative again?
Dexterity.
Dexterity. Okay. Yeah. It would be a 12 for
Well,
Valoran.
and I'm just rolling for the NPCs. And, okay, here we go. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna do like 8 different people. So first up is Samri. And Samri is going to swear, and then pull out his crossbow and shoot at the basilisk on the left. And he rolls really badly, and his shot, because he did it in haste, goes and bounces off the wall harmlessly. The next up is the big one of the basilisks, the same one that was just on the left. One is slightly bigger than the other. So the bigger one sees this happen to him and is offended deeply, and goes to bite Samri and rolls a 22, which is very successful. And oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So the basilisk bites Samri right in the arm, and right in the chest, and Samri collapses and coughs blood and is alive, but not for long. Next up is the other basilisk, who turns his attentions to Sunny. And it looks at you, and you have to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. +2. 20 in total.
Yep. So you're okay. And it lunges at you with its mighty jaws, and it rolls a 10.
And now AC 14.
Fine. Next is Jordan.
Right, what range am I from these two things?
You're within, call it, 20 feet of each.
Right. The one standing over, I'll look over at Sonny, see that he didn't get hit, and I will cast Burning Hand. No, not Burning Hands. Scorching Ray on the basilisk attacking Samri.
Okay. Let me just put on some more atmospheric. Okay. You cast Burning Hands. Or Scorching Ray, rather.
Actually, that's not very good. That's 12, 17, 18.
18 points of damage, or 18 against the target? Yeah, that hits. That hits the basilisk.
Does 12 hit?
12 does... it's a tie. Does it hit, or does it fail?
Should hit, yeah.
Yeah, that hits.
Right, so that's 3 hits. Then,
Okay.
which will be 66. That'll be 19 damage.
Okay, you hit it with 3 big bolts of fire, and it lolls back away from Samri and sort of shrieks in a snake-like way. Valoran is next.
Stupid snake cat thing, and fire it. Yeah.
Yeah. Valoran, you're up.
I will go and attack the basilisk that attacked Samurai as well.
Yeah, okay. Same one.
Alright.
Fuck it up, Trev. Fuck it up.
And then that would be 17 for that one. So I
Yep.
assume it hits.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Oh, let me see. What's this? Is the Sword of Life Stealing the same damage or die as my longswords? 1d8?
It'll probably be a d6 if it's a short sword.
Okay. Alright, well I will use that then.
I will double check.
All right.
Give me 2 seconds. Short sword is 1d6 piercing.
All right. Yep. I will 5, and then I use my second sword as well.
You get 2 attacks, don't forget. Have you done 2?
Oh wait, 2
I think
attacks with that sword, or two?
You've got... You're a 5th level fighter, so you've got second attack. Extra attack.
Also,
So
don't you add your strength modifier to your sword melee roll?
Yep.
For damage?
God, it's been a while, guys. All right, so that would be
Sorry.
8.
Come on!
Sorry, that would be 8 for the damage
Yeah.
on that one, and then I'll attack again.
Okay, go on.
Let's see.
Ah!
Ooh. Let's go. Hold on. Let's get the damage first. Oh. So do I get to roll the 3d6 necrotic?
Yeah, so roll an
damage?
extra 3d. So 1 plus, what is it, 3? Oh, no, you don't get strength modifier in the second one. So an extra 1.
No, yes, he does.
You do?
Because
So
just-
4.
It's his second attack, it's not 2 weapon fighting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's plus 3, 1 plus 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's an extra 4. Now roll 3d6.
All right,
13.
13.
So it actually only does 6 damage. Because
Interesting.
it is resistant to necrotic damage. But it is very bloodied. It is
For
looking...
a critical hit, are you doubling the
Oh no,
one
so then it
die
would
roll?
be the right way. So he's gonna take that and another 7. Forgot about the crit. Good. So yeah, he's looking like shit. But he's clinging on.
Now you can use your bonus action to attack with your second weapon. Your offhand.
There you go.
That's what.
There we go. God, this is complicated.
That'll do it.
And then this one will be a long sword, so that would be 5.
You don't add your strength to this one.
Oh yeah. You don't have strength to the bonus attack, so 2.
So 2. Okay, yeah, he's looking bad.
Unless
Marco
you-
is next, and Marco looks up and he casts. Nope, not that. Oh. He casts Sacred Flame. And I need to roll a Basilisk Dex saving throw. He's targeting the same one. The Basilisk fails the save, and so thereby take 1d8. 4 radiant damage.
Ah, so he's on level 4, is he?
Yes, Marco is level 4.
Go in the notes.
Thing. Let me just double check it. Oh no, he's level 5, so he gets an extra 1d8.
Yeah. Trying to scam us out of 2 more damage. Oh!
Right, he obliterates this basilisk with his sacred flame. It bursts into black smoke and is vanquished. The other one lives still. Next is Thalar. Thalar has some tricksy stuff that I can't remember how to do all of. Judd may need to help me out with his
Yep.
spinning weapon malarkey.
His sacred weapon. Oh,
Yeah.
Spiritual weapon, even.
Yeah.
No, not. So he just summon it as a bonus action.
Well, let's give him a real action first. So let's say he casts.
He could only cast a cantrip if he's got to use a bonus action for a spell.
Oh, okay. I'm just looking through his little spell list here. He's level 5 too. No, I'm just going to use Sacred Flame again because that's going to be
It's
decent.
the only damage spell that Cleric has.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
for a cantrip anyway. Unless he has Toll the Dead. Which might do.
and I just need to figure out what the DC for this is.
His DC will be 8 plus his spellcasting ability plus 3. So, has he got 20 or 18 wisdom?
My stats are old for him. I don't know.
Alright.
Got plus. I've got it at 16, but I think that's low.
Right, well, he should be at 4. He should be at 18 then.
Yeah, he'll be at
I am-
18. So
right.
4 plus 2 plus. Or 5, level 5 now. So he's 4 plus
Yeah.
3 plus 7, 8, 15. So the Basilisk fails. Which means we roll 2d8. 16. Okay. He hits the other Basilisk, which writhes in agony as the white hot flames torch it. Sunny is next.
Is the remaining basilisk the one that originally attacked me? So I stood
Yes,
next
it
to it.
is.
Yep. I am going to use a quarterstaff against it. Getting 21.
Yeah, that'll do it.
It does 1d6 plus 3. Bludgeoning. 4.
Yep.
And I get to repeat that again. I get an
Yep.
extra attack. Now I'm level 5. I guess that's a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Doing 5 damage.
Yep.
How's it looking?
It is looking like it's had a bad day, but
Okay.
it's still on its feet.
I will spend a Kai point to do Flurry of Blows then, and do an unarmed strike. Six. I'm guessing that's a miss. And I get
That
to,
is a miss.
and I get to do one more. 13.
That's a hit.
1d6 plus 1. Six.
Okay.
6 damage.
Yeah, it is bloodied.
And I will use my new drunken technique that I told you about earlier to stagger away out of harm's way. So I can move a total. Normally I can move. I think it's 40 feet. Yeah, speed 40, so I get an extra 10. So 50 feet away. No, 40 feet away because I want to get back into combat later. With a with disengage.
Yep, very good. Perdita is next, who uses her crossbow and shoots, and her aim is true. And she rolls, very good, 8 damage against the second basilisk. Hits it right in the eye with her arrow, and it writhes about in pain, and it's looking like it's at the end of its days. Samri is next, and he is lying on the ground, but he manages to pull out his crossbow and shoots it from the hip. And he manages to hit it as well. He was much better aim on the ground than he was otherwise. And it hits the basilisk right in the side, and this thing's looking like it's having a really bad day. But it is next. And it's going to go for Perdita, as it is pretty pissed about its eye. And it going to roll a 7. So it snaps, but its rage and blood have blinded it. Too weak just to fight. Jordan is next.
I will cast Firebolt.
Yep. Yep, that'll do it.
15, that is... For 12 damage.
Yep, and as your firebolt hits it, it bursts into black smoke, and the room is now empty. Everybody gets to mark 1,400 experience.
Nice. I'm nearly on 10k.
So,
I'm gonna turn to Sarah and I said, "Why would you touch it?"
and she's just catatonic. She's on the ground. She's shaking. She's white, bone white.
I'll slap her and turn her to face Samri, who's still on the floor, and say, "Look at what you've done."
And she's still dazed despite your slap. She's like just in a fog, a mental fog. Samri coughs a bit of blood, and Marco rushes over to him, or perhaps Thalar. But Marco rushes over to him and lays his hands on him and casts. I'm very good at being a cleric.
Cure light wounds.
Yeah, cure wounds, which is 1d8 plus. Plus his spellcasting modifier, which is 3 plus 3 is 6. $14. And Samri looks great. Samri's right back on top of things. He's feeling a lot better, and he thanks. He thanks Marco for his help, and Marco gives a little bow. And Marco rushes over to Sarah and kind of cradles her a bit, and is speaking to her in very low tones, in hushed tones. And he helps her to her feet and turns to you and says, I see what that was all about. She's very afraid of snakes.
That's not my concern. We come across anything magical, you don't just run over and touch it.
And he says, yes, of course.
Right, don't let her do it again.
No, certainly not. And he kind of...
Not if she wants us to get out of here alive.
And she's still looking very shaken. There is just the one exit.
We'll take it then.
Yep. And you walk for a while. And eventually you come across a 4-way split. You've got this crossroads. You're standing in one, of course, there's another one, goes straight ahead. And then there's a perfectly perpendicular path that cuts across left and right. And that's what you see.
So it's like a crossroads?
Yeah, it's a perfect T. A perfect cross.
Right.
And can I do a perception check again? Any smells?
Yeah.
Any sense coming from...
You all can.
I
Oh, wow,
crit.
look at that, Sonny.
Can
That's
you
what I
smell
said.
the sausages cooking in Baston?
He smells everything. Sonny,
I smell dead people.
you can feel the same breeze.
Spin.
You can feel everything. You feel the same breeze, and you hear a slight shuffling coming from the right-hand side. And from the left-hand side, you don't feel anything at all. And from ahead of you, you get a slight whiff of death.
Okay, so I relay this to the group. We've got movement to our right. I can hear shuffling around, and I smell death straight ahead. And I'm picking up nothing from the left.
I will take the slate off Valoran and just whiz it down the right-hand path.
And it just goes whiz, and then it hits the wall. It jogs to the left. So it just hits the end of the corridor about 20 feet down. But what I will say before you go too much further in with this is you've rolled a 12, Jornan, which means that you very distinctly hear something say, Jornan!
Oh, something said my name. I'll turn around and say, which one of you said my name?
And as you spin down the left-hand corridor, down the corridor right in front of you, you see a little boy, and then he slips out of sight.
I recognize the boy, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
It's not.
It can't be.
Can part of me would want to instantly follow it, but a little bit of me would think that's clearly impossible.
As you stand there deliberating, a small toy, it's a horse on a wooden block with 4 wheels and like a rope that pulls, comes wheeling down the hall, and it stops right in front of you. And you recognize it. You built it together.
This is impossible. I'd sprint down the corridor trying to follow him.
Yep.
No.
And you sprint and sprint, and it's probably 80 feet long, and then it turns to the left. And how far do you go?
I'd go all the way, just yelling Dorian, and I'd run.
Yeah, and you just run right and left and right and left, and you find yourself in a room, a dead end room, and it's empty.
Do we follow? Surely we follow.
I followed.
And I can't see anything.
Nope, the room's completely empty.
I'd
You do
be
see.
gasping
I
for-
take that back. Actually, you do see in the corner of the room a small wooden boat that you made as well. And
I'd be gasping for breath, trying to look around. I'd pick up the boat and I'd turn it over in my hands, trying to see if
on the bottom, you see a G and a D carved into it.
Jordan, what's going on?
that boy was it was such an impossible. He was called Dorian. He was my brother from a long time ago, but he died so long ago.
You know how this place can play tricks on your mind, Jordan.
I know, but if I died, yeah, that was silly of me, stupid.
What Sonny might say to him, use this to your advantage like I did in the cottage.
I don't want to think of him. And if there's nothing here, I think I would turn around and start.
Yep.
I won't try and think of him. And I'll purposely try and think of anything else, like probably just go over like whatever the firebolt like movements in my mind and thinking about the spell, just like a spell I really know. And
Yeah.
just like focus on that to stop myself thinking of anything else.
Yep. Nothing happens. You're below. The room remains still.
Come on.
I turned back and walked back to the crossroads. I think it was not.
Yeah. So you rejoin the group at the crossroads, and you've got a choice, right or left.
No.
So
The left side would be the side where Sonny felt the breeze, right?
and the and the shuffling.
That was the right side. That's the one I threw the light down.
Yeah, which is now the left coming from the other direction. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
So let me rephrase. You've got the lit side and the unlit side,
Yeah.
and the way you came.
So we
The
go down
unlit
the
side,
unlit
was that the
side.
smell of death?
No, the way
No.
you ran.
That's
The way that you
I
went
ran.
was the way that smelled
There's
like death.
nothing down there.
Can we resist?
I'm still a bit too shaken to lead anything. So
Can we resist looking at what was shuffling down the corridor?
Sorry, say that again.
Could we resist? I'm just asking, as a group, would we be able to resist looking down the corridor?
that was
That
the
had
way
a
where
shuffle.
The air smelled better, didn't it? Again.
Yeah, the breeze was coming from that direction,
So,
and the
Yeah, I
shuffling.
think we have to.
Realistically,
I
we
think
have to go that way.
Even if we heard the shuffling. We need to get out of here as quick as possible.
Perdita and Samu, can you scout, or Sonny, can you scout out that corner?
Yeah.
You've scouted for us before.
I will stealthily scout ahead.
Okay.
Let me just see what my
Roll a stealth check.
see what my stealth bonus
Like
is.
plus 25 now.
+6. Oh, 9 in total.
So you head down the corridor, and as you get to the lit rock, you trip over it and fall.
And do I see anything? Sorry, did you hear me? Do I see anything down the corridor?
No, sorry, I think I cut out for a second.
Okay.
I said you went down the corridor with a 9. You get to the lit rock and you trip over it and fall.
Yep. And then can I see anything?
It goes down and then it jogs right again.
Okay.
It just keeps winding back and forth.
Okay, so maybe I stand up and brush myself off and return to my fellows, saying, "Look, I think I've, made too much of a noise."
As you stand there, you hear a voice, and it comes from the corridor on your left, and it says, "Chaps, what the devil are you doing here?" And Welfer steps around the corner.
I
draw my
incinerate
sword.
My staff. Yeah.
What the
And
hell are
he says,
you doing?
Oh, goodness. What, I didn't expect to run into all of you.
Well, we feel the same way about you. Being
Well,
as you died in front of us.
Oh, well, you don't think... I've been a wizard a very long time, boy. You don't think I've got some kind of contingency plan in place for when things like that happen?
Yeah, but all your spells broke when you died, so your power was released.
And
So
why
I'm
would you
guessing-
be here?
Well, this is a very powerful magical artifact sort of trolling place, and I run a magical shop. So I've got an interest in coming down and scouting out for weird and wonderful things. I come every so often.
It seems a bit contrived, Walter, that you would be at the same point that we would get lost.
I don't know what to tell you. I didn't expect to run into you either.
Look, Wilfer,
He's got a grip on his staff.
we've seen some strange stuff down here. Met people that shouldn't be here. Have died long ago. How do we? You're an intelligent man. How would you prove you are yourself?
And he sort of stands there and he says, I don't know what you expect me to say. I can tell you everything that I know about you, but if you don't trust me in the first place, then how do I know that you're going to come up? It's going to be a good enough answer. I can.
How
Now,
about let's
can
start with
we-
putting the staff down, Walter?
And he says, all right. And he puts it up against the wall.
Can I visualize a rock or something that he wouldn't
Yeah.
have in his pocket?
Yeah.
Like I visualize that, and I'll ask him to reach into his pocket and pull something out,
He
or
goes,
into
all right.
his pocket.
And he scrounges around in his pocket and he pulls out a ring and some lint and a bit of parchment. Says, is this what you're looking for?
Okay, guys, I don't think he might actually be Wilfer.
I'm not buying this at all.
And he tucks it away. And he says, you still haven't answered my question. What are you doing here? You looking for something?
A way out, mainly. How did you come back
How did I come back? What, from the dead?
from the dead? Yeah.
Well, I have a soul, don't I? I keep a body on standby in the shop. So when my soul dies, it travels back to the body, and I have a new one. I've got a new one growing now.
But if you
I
died,
mean, I personally know what that spell would be. Would Gionan have any idea?
You would have heard of stuff like that. You don't know how it works, because it's quite advanced magic, but you're aware that the concept is
very
sound.
advanced magic.
It makes sense why his shop was so protected if he was growing a new. Did he say he was growing a new body?
Yeah, that's where his spare body was being kept.
So we tried to get back in and it was heavily protected,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
but my only issue would be
Why
well,
is
I
he here?
guess- Yeah. And that ferryman that took us across the river, you remember he had turned to ash after he died, after Welfare died.
Oh, I'd forgotten
So, I'm not sure why his other
that. I
spells
mean,
were.
he would physically die. That could.
But that would that release the spell he had on the ferryman? Like if
Um,
Welf.
1 second. I will. I mean, I'm still pointing my staff at Welfare.
Yeah, he looks rather nonplussed.
And I will back up um, to Marco and Sarah, and I just say, is there anything you can sense about him?
And they look over and they say, Marco says, "Is that a friend of yours?"
We knew him a few weeks ago, but we watched him die in a demon sacrifice.
Okay. What do you want me to do?
Well, I mean, he's a mage, so there would be some magic about him anyway. But do you have any way? There are spells for detecting, or your paladin senses. Do they detect anything?
They tingle. Her spidey sense.
Anything?
Sarah uses her.
She would have like divine sense and things.
Yeah, I'm just looking for that. Here. What's the command for it? It's not a spell. Is it a feature?
It is. It would be a feature, I think. I will have it in a second. That's wizard.
I don't think that counts. I don't think it's that smart. Is it the one where they can smell and hear?
It should let them know if there is the presence of strong evil registers in senses like Nox Soda. As an action, you can open your awareness to detect such forces. Till the end of your next turn, you know the location of any celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet of you that is not behind total cover.
She
that
kind of feels around, and she says, "I mean, listen, if he's not a fiend, he's not a celestial. I know what those feel like. He could be undead, but we're kind of surrounded by necrotic magic, so I don't think I'm good enough to be able to tell whether or not it's him or it's everything else. I'm not getting a real strong read, but I'm also not the best guy in the world at this." And she turns to Marco, and Marco looks over his spell book.
Would he have detect good or evil?
He has detect poison and disease and detect magic, but he doesn't have detect good or evil. And I don't think either of those are going to be super helpful.
No. All right. Well, I don't think I can trust him. Welfare, how did you get in here?
And he says, "I came through many entrances. Came through another one. You come down the well."
Yeah, we used the well. Yeah.
Yes. Fine. There's another one through a cave system, which is hidden in the forest near the city, and I use that one.
I can't trust him.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah, I'd say welfare. I just can't trust that you're you. We've seen a child at home and my dead brother already in here.
And he says, "I understand completely. This place plays tricks on the mind. If you'd like to go separate ways, please don't let me stop you. I'll continue on my own. I don't mean to intrude."
I don't know that I would want him to go somewhere.
I don't trust him, but I don't trust him even more with him out of our sight.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. I think we could at least keep an eye on him and make sure everything goes well.
How far away from me is he?
How far away right now is he from you? Probably 35 feet. If you're keeping him at arm's length.
Yeah. I I understand that you. No. You can understand why we're quite skeptical.
Completely. No, I understand entirely. I don't mean to. I was just very surprised to see you.
Not as surprised as we are. Would you show us the way out? How long would that take?
It's not. I mean, it'll take a little while, but it's not going to be very, very long. I'd be happy to help. Did you come for something in particular, or are we just trying to leave?
We were trying to explore the upper catacombs to find. I actually don't have that in my notes. It's a sensor of something in it. What were we trying to find, Alex?
Don't ask me. I'm the DM. Ask your fellow players.
Okay.
In RP.
Anybody know? What was? I don't think Jordan would forget, but.
Well, then roll a history check, and I'll tell you.
Right. That's what I was looking for. History is my job.
You've got like +10 to that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, it's only +8. Oh, 13.
That's fine. You remember, suddenly, that you were sent by the abbot of Mishakal to find the resurrection gem that they're going to use to bring the princess back to life.
We were looking for a resurrection gem. Well,
And he kind of scratches and he says, "Well, I can tell you right now, that wouldn't be in the upper catacomb. It'll only be down here. So I don't know who told you that." And Samri kind of steps behind Marco.
I'll just have a quick glance at Welfare and say, "Oh well."
If it's powerful, then Serme will have wanted to keep it close, which means it will be down here in his city. I can try and help you find it. I've been here a few times. I might have seen something like that. I don't know. Faith magic is not my forte. I don't really care for it, so I wouldn't have taken it. I could take you to what I think it is, and if it's not, then we can just leave, if you like.
Guys?
I mean, we are already down here. We might as well find it.
Samri, Purita, are you willing to go further in?
And Samri says, "You're paying me to find the artifact. We find it, we go. The quicker we find it, the quicker we get to leave."
Right.
Perdita
Well,
concurs.
I guess we're in agreement then.
Marco and Sarah. Marco says, "We're here for the artifact. We're finding it. We're not leaving without it. We came here to get it. I will stay and find it."
Right. Well, in that case, if you could help us, Welfare, but I don't mean to insult you, but does he have a wand or a staff?
He's got a staff.
But he doesn't carry a visible wand or anything, does he?
You can't see one. There might be one tucked into his robes, but you wouldn't see it.
Right. Well, would you say? But you understand that I can't trust you yet, and I'll cast Mage Hand, and I will pick up his staff and pull it to me.
I completely understand. I'd do the same if I was in your position. And he digs into one of the sleeves of his robes, and he produces a wand, and he holds the handle out to you, and he says, "Would you like this as well?"
Oh yeah, actually.
And he gives it to you. And he has a bit of a knowing smile on his face, and he says, "Right, this way." And he marches past you down the corridor with the lit plate.
All right. Well, I guess we follow apprehensively. Actually, I stay with Jordan.
I'll just I'll just carry the wand and staff, but I'll stay about 15 feet away from Welfare.
Okay. And you see him go around the corner, and by the time you turn around the corner, he's around the next corner, so you're kind of following him. You can hear him feet very lightly on the ground, and you're sort of following him, but he's just marching down. He's an elf, so he's got dark vision, so he doesn't have a light or anything. He's walking. And you twist and turn for a little while, listening, And then eventually you come up on him, and he's stood at the doorway, this archway into a new room, which is pitch black. And uh, he's got his hand out to his side with its palm facing you, sort of in a stop motion. And then he waves it frantically, trying to indicate, douse the lights.
Okay. And I'll remove the light cantrip
Yeah.
and tell everybody to hold up.
And he flicks his hand, and the torches go out. Casts whatever that is, prestidigitation, and stands completely still. And you don't hear any movement or sound, but you can. He's gesturing very, very subtly. That you have to be completely silent. He makes the shh motion with his hand, and walk very slowly. Follow him to through the next room, and he begins to sort of edge around the room. Now, Sunny, Jordan, Valoran, Perdita, Sarah, and Marco are all human, so you don't have dark vision. So it is black. It is so black that you can't. They say you can't see your hand in front of your face. You wouldn't know what was there or not. It is the darkest it's ever been in your life. Thalar is helpfully trying to help, with holding on to people and kind of walking, because he has dark vision. He's a dwarf. And Welfer is leading Perdita, Sarah, and Marco. He's got them sort of grabbed onto his robes. And you're just very quietly walking around, very gently around the edge of this room. You can feel the wall against your back. And Perdita steps on a rock, and it crunches. And Welfer spins around and says, "Perdita!" Very, very softly. And Perdita goes white. And everybody is still. And slowly, this room, you can sense with your body that this room is big. You just have this cavernous feeling, but you can't see it. And about 80 feet away, about 10 feet off the ground, you see a small light.
How did Welfer know Perdita's name?
That might just be bad DM.
Okay.
Don't read too much into this one, boys.
Suspicious as hell. But
thought
write
that
it
was-
down.
I
You never
thought
know.
that was-
Maybe I'll make it into a plot point later. Write that down.
I thought that was a real clever pickup, Trev. Well done. Right, so what can I see of this light, if I can see a light?
It's a light, and it's a single light, just 10 feet off the ground, standing still, 80 feet away. And as your eyes adjust to it,
Is it a light that I would recognise?
you recognize it, and then you see another, and another, and another. And there's 5 of them in varying heights, around 10 feet tall, standing there, and you can hear a soft breathing, and it smells like rot. And Samri and Welfer and Thalar all have dark vision as elves and dwarves. And they see, and through, I don't know, a series of hand squeezes, silently relay to you that there are 5 Wendigos on the other wall.
No, Wendigos.
Yeah, I thought that. How close together are all these lights?
They're within a group. They're sort of nested. They're not moving.
Do they know we're here?
They
Not yet.
they haven't acknowledged your presence yet, and everyone's standing perfectly still.
That's gonna be a rough fight if we try to fight that.
Well, unfortunately, I think Giornan would have already reacted as soon as he realised what they were.
Oh fuck.
So yeah,
Well, cast your.
I am going to cast Fireball into the centre of them. I have a 20-foot radius.
Okay, hang on. Let me quickly just click these little buttons. Okay. Okay, you go. Do it. They're all within about I'd say a 30-foot clump. So your firebolt will hit 3 of them.
3 of them.
Yeah, they're big creatures.
Yeah. Right. Well, they all need to. Well, those three need a DC 16 uh, uh,
Con-
dexterity.
Dexterity. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna roll 3. For 3 of them. None of the one with 16 succeeds. So
Yeah.
2 hits.
Well, they all hit. They just the one
Oh,
with
I see.
16 will
Yeah,
take
yeah.
half
So
damage.
two successes, 1 failure.
So that is 38 damage,
Okay.
and which
And
will
one
be
takes
19.
2 take half of that, right?
The 2 fails take the full 38. So the 2 and the 11 take 38,
Okay.
and the 16 will take 19.
19. Okay.
That's
Everybody
fire
roll.
damage, which are they resistant to? Weren't they vulnerable to fire damage last?
I think they were. Quickly just checking my compendium.
I remember Thurkus using fireball to great effect.
Don't doubt that. Let me quickly plug this. Wendigo. Here we go. Damage, vulnerabilities, fire.
Brilliant. So that'll be 16.
38 for one and 76 for the others.
Yeah.
So everybody roll initiative, although I don't know how much of that's going to be necessary.
Oh, 7. I really wanted to go again.
So 7 for Jordan.
6 for
Lauren,
Sonny.
you're-
19.
Do you add something to? Did you add your dex to that?
My dex is 0.
Okay. And Thalar rolls a 15.
I know. I would as soon as I realised what they all were, I would give a kind of, huh, and I would fireball straight into them.
Okay. Well, you incinerate 2 of them.
Oh.
Weird.
76 points of damage is a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And the last time you faced these fuckers, you were not as strong.
I was like level 2.
Yeah. The third one is badly singed, but still very much alive. First in the order is Perdita, who doesn't do anything because it's pitch black and she doesn't know what's going on. So she scrambles around and grabs her crossbow, but she doesn't know where to shoot. So it rolls to Valoran.
I'd say to Giornan, I need a light or I can't attack these guys.
I can't do anything about a light this turn. Do you not have a torch?
I will. Hold on, let me check. I do have a torch. So I will use one of my torches. And does that count as my action, or can I count that as my bonus action?
You'd have to light a torch, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's an action.
It's
Yeah.
it's,
The bonus
would it
action
be
is to wee yourself a little?
an interaction? You can interact with one object or feature for free as part of your movement or action.
Well,
Yeah, but if you have to light a torch, it's
Ah,
a
right,
little
okay.
more than a quick interaction, isn't it? You've got
Like
to
Okay,
more
yeah.
picking up something, yeah.
strike
Alright, well.
strike a match or whatever. It's gonna take you 6 seconds to do that at least.
Alright, well, yeah, I'll just go ahead and light my torch.
Okay.
And then have my sword of life stealing ready.
Next is Marco. Marco.
Alex, you cut out if you're
Oh,
talking.
I'm just reading. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. He casts Sacred Flame, somewhat unsurprisingly. So let me go back and the Wendigo. He goes for the one that looks real shitty, and it succeeds on a dex saving throw against his Sacred Flame. So is that damage or no damage?
What'd you say? Sorry.
Or take. Yeah, so his Sacred Flame misses. Next is Thalar, who does the exact same thing. Handily. And fails the dex roll. So the Wendigo take... Oops. 9 points of damage and is looking like it's having a very bad day. But it is next. And it it runs straight for Giornan. And yeah, that'll do. And it just runs towards you. It's too far away to do anything. As I said, it was like 80 feet away. So it runs at you, and the other one does the same. And next is Sarah. I'm just doing this whole thing by myself. You guys can take a break. She pulls out her longbow and misses because it's just too dark. Samri uses his hip crossbow and hits the rampaging Wendigo for 11 points of damage, right between the eyes, and the wounded one goes down and collapses in a heap. And next is Jordan. So the scene is there are 2 left alive. One is 40 feet away from you. One is 80 feet away from you.
Right, and neither are hurt.
And both of them are looking peaky. Or fine, actually, peaky is sick. They're looking great. They've just come back from the spa.
I will toss. I will cast light on my staff.
Yep.
Hold it up and just yell "Welfare catch" and toss these one to him.
He is not next in the order, but he catches his wand deftly.
That's my turn.
Okay, Sonny, you're next.
Okay, just describe to me are any of these Wendigos near me?
No, the nearest one is 40 feet away.
Okay, and I don't have a torch lit, so
No.
I've cast light though, so everybody can
So
see.
the room is 60
right,
feet
okay.
around you are well illuminated. So it's you can see everything. This stinking, horrible, rotting thing is grotesquely illuminated.
Okay, and they're 60 feet away.
One is 40 feet away, one is 80 feet away. So
Oh.
one of them is lightly obscured by the darkness, but the other one is well illuminated near you.
Okay, the 40 feet one I'll be able to reach, so I'm going to run over to that one and use my quarterstaff.
Stun it. Get it. Get it. Get it.
Is that Jordan?
16.
16 is a hit.
And roll for damage. Eight. And then I will spend a Kai point to turn that into a stunning strike. You can interfere with the flow of Kai in an opponent's body. When you hit another creature with a melee weapon attack, you can spend 1 Kai point to attempt a stunning strike. The target must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or be stunned until the end of your next turn.
Okay, it is Constitution. I've rolled a 5.
And I think for things like this, I have 8 plus your proficiency bonus and your wisdom modifier, so it would definitely be a fail.
More than 5, yeah.
So it is stunned. So that was my Kai. Stunning. Was that as a bonus action? You can. I don't think that's a bonus action. Anyway, I get an extra attack, so I'm going to repeat.
I will double check what it says while you're doing that.
So hit again.
Yeah, very good.
With advantage. It's stunned.
You've hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you might get a critical.
That's true.
Okay, I'll roll again. Nope.
Nope.
Seven damage. I don't think Stunning Strike was a bonus action, so as
It's not a bonus action.
So as a bonus action, I will do. as my bonus action, I'm going to spend another Kai point and do Flurry of Blows.
Okay.
So unarmed strike. Eight. But I would have advantage, wouldn't I?
Yep. Same again. You just roll 2 8s.
So they're both missed. So my second attack from Flurry, it's Flurry of Blows. 22 this time.
That'll hit.
Let's just see what the other one would have been. So 22. And then damage. 7.
Good.
That's me done.
Okay. It sways on its feet. Next is Welfer. Welfer raises the wand that he was given and casts Lightning Bolt. And a stroke of lightning, 100 feet long, well, 80 feet long in this case, blasts out from him. And Wendigo needs to make a dex saving throw against spellcast fire. It does not. It rolls a 10. So it takes 8.
Is that going to hit Sonny?
No, he's going for the far one.
Oh, right, okay.
8 damage. Blah, 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 blah. Great. So, 25. Okay, the other Wendigo it's shocked and angry. And it is its turn, and it runs 40 feet closer. And we're back at the top of the order, and it's Perdita, who now, seeing what she can do, shoots her longbow, or her light crossbow, excuse me, at one of the Wendigo, and hits successfully. For 6 points of damage. That one's already dead. Hang on. Dead. Not dead. Shoots it at the stunned one. And wings it in the shoulder, and it is still stunned. And Valoran is next.
So, how far away am I?
You are 40 feet away from both of them.
And one of them is stunned?
One of them is stunned, and one of them is angry.
Okay, I'll go attack the angry one.
Okay.
And I'll do 2 attacks with the sword, so that would be...
No good. Oh, wait, no, plus what?
Plus strength and proficiency, 6.
So 16, yeah, that's a hit.
Yep, and then I'll just go ahead and roll the 8 or 6.
Okay, that's 3, good. Okay.
3 plus 3.
6.
Yep.
Good. And your second attack? Yeah, that'll do it.
And 4.
Okay, you slice and dice, and this thing looks pretty bad.
Now, just out of question, can I use my torch that I'm still holding in my other hand to attack him?
Yeah.
Because, alright, what's the dice on that?
I have no fucking clue. Let's.
An improvised weapon would be a D.
Yeah, I would roll an improvised weapon, and if you are successful, I will come up with some extra damage dice for the fire damage.
Alright, cool. Alright, so, oh!
Yeah, that'll do it! So, improvised weapon is, Jordan, what? It's 1d6?
1d4.
1d4. So roll 1d4 and add a d12 to that, and then double the whole thing.
And then double it again for being fire damage.
No, I've already given you a d12.
Oh, alright, hold on, let me see if this works. 15.
Yay, 1530. So you smack this thing, and it lights on fire, and screams, and then explodes into black smoke.
Don't forget your tricky one-liner.
Oh
yeah.
He's like, God, I fucking hate the dark.
That's fair. Marco is next and shoots another sacred flame at the stunned Wendigo, who
automatically fails
because it's stunned. Yeah. And will take 10 points of damage. 20 points, actually. It looks bad. It's not having a good day. Thalar is next. Does the same
Are they
thing.
vulnerable to radiant damage? Because Sacred Flame is not fire damage.
I know. Vulnerable to radiant damage.
That's fine.
Thalar does the same thing, and scoops it, and it explodes into black smoke. And you are now alone in this cavernous room.
I'm really sorry about that, but I
Everybody take...
really hate those things.
Hang on. Do, 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 do. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong... Wendigo. Go 3. 5 of them, and 3,500 experience.
Oh wow! So we've gained a total of 4,900
So far.
This-
So how much did we just gain? Sorry,
3,500.
35. So that's 10, 2, 13, 2.
Okay.
Unfortunately, though, I am gonna have to leave fairly soon.
Okay.
Not now, so.
Well, I'll set up the next bit, and then we'll leave.
All right, cool.
So, you... Welfer, turns and looks at Jornan and says, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but I understand that, but some really bad experiences with them in the past. I saw them and I just reacted. I'm sorry.
And he nods and he says, well, no matter, we made short work of them. And he looks at where they used to be, and now there's nothing there, and says, curious. Right, shall we mosey on?
What's curious?
Just, Wendigo in general. This place, as you probably can tell, smoke manifests your fears. Someone was harboring some very deep fear about Wendigo. I'm just curious to see the inner workings of people's minds.
I wonder if it was
Right.
using our minds again to play a trick on us, and there was never actually any Wendigos.
Oh no, they can very much kill you.
Oh.
Oh yes, no, make no mistake. If you've seen anything else, if you've seen, and Samray goes, yes, the snake, it bit me. It hurt really bad.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. Sorry, Samurai.
And Welfer says, anyway,
Very well, let's move forward.
right. And he cracks on, and you walk into the next room, and here's what you see.
Fireball!
You fireball at nothing. It's empty. No, you walk in, and there is a statue in the center of this room, which is laying out a bit like a small chapel. And up at the altar is this life-size statue of a woman, and she's got 2 hands outstretched, palms up, in like a cupping motion, like you're going to put something in them, and they're at different levels. And in front of her are 2 chests, wooden chests, and coming out of her shoulders are 2 poles with indicators, and one is pointing at the 5, and one is pointing at the 3. And the rest of the room is empty. There are no other exits.
It's an interesting place.
So there's a woman with a clock.
Nope. He's got 2 a pole sticking out of each shoulder.
Right, like an arm. Or
No, it's just like a
sticking
straight,
vertical.
like a flagpole, vertical.
Right.
And one is and there's markings, 8 markings on this pole, and they have this little sliding indicator, and one is
Right.
indicating 5, and the other on the higher hand, and one is indicating 3 on the lower hand.
8. Okay. How high up are these things, these markers?
The statue is life size,
Yeah.
so it stands about 5-6 feet tall.
So I
and then
could
the
probably
markers-
reach the markers.
You could reach them, yeah.
Okay. Mage hand. Welfare.
Yeah. Yes.
Any? Have you come across this?
No, but there are these sort of puzzle things. I've run into them before. Not this one, but I suggest we look in the box.
Oh, box. Yeah, I didn't know.
There's
it's
two
box.
wooden chests at the feet of this statue.
Right. I will use. I'll just say, stand back, everyone. I will cast Mage Hand, and I will move back away, and I will lift up, open the boxes, or open the box on
they
the left.
smoothly open. The inside, you can see each one has 3 orbs, shiny metallic orbs in it, and you can see there's a symbol on each one. If you're too far away to see exactly what it is,
I'll
you can
move
see
closer.
that in
If
each-
nothing happened when I opened back up,
Nope,
and I'll.
nothing happened.
Well, I'll move up and
you-
I'll start looking at them.
You move closer and roll an investigation check for me.
Oh, I'm pretty good at this. I'm very good at this. 19.
That'll do it. So you learn, I will put it in resources for you. You learn the following. There are 6 orbs, which you make out the metal. You recognize the common metals that they're made from.
Yeah.
And you've got... one is made of copper.
Right.
One is, and it has a skull on it. One is made of adamantine, and it has a diamond shape, like a cut diamond symbol. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
On it. One is made of gold, and it has a lightning bolt on it. One is made of platinum, and it has a human figure, human shape, like an outline of a body, on it. One is made of silver, and it has a brain on it, and one is made of mithril, and it has 2 crossed swords on it. In an X shape, and I've just dropped that in there for you. And then on the inside of one of the boxes is a note that's written in a very flowery hand.
Can I read it? Is it in a language I understand?
It's in common.
Oh.
And you see it, and it says, and I'll put this in the resources bit too. It says, each of these orbs weighs a different amount, and will move the arms of this statue a different number of positions and placed in its hands. Each is also marked with a symbol of great importance. The game is this. Whichever ball you place in the statue's hands comes with a penalty. Some minor, but most quite grave. Any orbs you do not use, you may take with you as my gift. But beware, the most valuable prizes come with the lightest punishment. If you wish to leave a rich man, you will have to sacrifice much. If you wish to leave whole, you will continue pauper. Good luck, Serme. And next to Serme's name, there is a seal burned into the wood itself, and it looks like this. Looks like...
Ooh.
Fancy.
Well, and I will put this in the chat, but that's what we're going to call it for tonight, because Valoran's got to go on a date.
I'm sorry.
With a princess?
You're supposed to be a
Oh.
fucking D&D playing nerd when you're out going for a date.
I'm sorry, guys.
Not all of us can, have married with children.
I'm not married. Sonny might be.
But isn't enough anyway.
I am.
I do have enough children. Not denying it.
I don't have either a wife or children or a
Don't.
girlfriend.
Just don't do it.
Yet.
Don't do it.
Yeah, nah, yeah. You're right.
If
We'll
tonight
see how
goes
tonight
well,
goes.
yeah.
See
you
how
know.
tonight goes first, buddy.
We'll see.
All right. Have a good one.
Before you all go, on Wednesday night I'm running a game of Weave, if anyone's available and up for it.
What time?
7:30.
I will be DMing my other campaign, so I'll be unable to join. I'm afraid.
Okay. It's going to be using a new play set, which is like a science fiction one. I would say a cross between Firefly and Firefly.
Always a good
Kind of
sign.
space kind of adventure. You're bounty hunters in this one.
Now, do you have any other players, or? Are you
I think Josh is available. So there's another guy that we've been playing Weave with, but he wasn't available this week. So always looking for more players. So if you fancy it, Wednesday night.
I'll think about it. I
Yep,
might
yep.
be able to have time because I won't be getting home from class until about 8 o'clock. So.
Is that my time?
No, that's my time.
Alright,
so
okay.
that would be. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, so it's 2:30 my time. Yeah, I'll be in class. No, I couldn't do that.
Alright, okay. No problem. And Judd, you're not available?
I'm not sure.
Drop me a message if you are.
Oh well. If not, I might watch if it's going on Twitch.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
I'll just have to see where we want to then. Alex,
Yeah.
if I quickly kill Wolfer, can I have 800